In this brief video, I'm going to look at if statements in Java. The code provided here was created by Drs. Kate Finney and Don Cowell of the University of Greenwich. The command we're looking at is if. If checks whether a condition is true, and if it is, it does something. Notice that the condition has curved brackets around it. If what's between the curved brackets is true, then a command is executed. In this case, it'll output hello wrinkly. So the program starts by initializing a string called age_str that asks how old you are. It then converts this age string to an integer, and if the age is greater than or equal to 21, it outputs hello wrinkly. Now let's see if this works. I'll just hit Shift F6. The program's now running. It asks me how old I am, and I'm going to say 34. And output at the bottom here is hello wrinkly. Now what happens if I'm not over 21? So supposing I'm 18. Well, in that case, nothing is output. Something is only output if age is greater than or equal to 21. Now notice that we've put the command on the same line effectively as the condition. Let's now have a look at a slightly more complicated program. This one is sexist instead of ageist. It asks the user whether they're a boy or a girl. If they say boy, then it's going to output you should wear blue. It's traditional. So let's see if this works. First of all, Shift and F6. I'm going to say I'm a boy. Guess what? I am. And output at the bottom it says you should wear blue. It's traditional. This will only be output if the user enters boy. So for example, if they enter girl, then again nothing is output. Or supposing they have an input that is totally nonsensical, what happens then? Absolutely nothing, because the only time something is done is if the word boy is used. Now we're going to move on to a slightly more complicated example. Here we're going to look at a program that asks for our name, asks for our age, and then checks that the age we get is an integer. Well, it doesn't check it, turns it into an integer. A freedom pass is a bus pass in London that you can use without having to pay. If you're over 60, you can get a freedom pass. So if age is greater than 60, the string freedom is going to be set to a new line. You are entitled to a freedom pass. Notice that freedom is set to an empty string initially, so that it's only going to get changed if the age entered is over 60. It will then output hello age year old plus the name plus the freedom variable. So let's try this out. It's first of all going to ask me for my name. That's still Andy. It's going to ask me for my age, which is 63, and it says, hello 63-year-old Andy, you are entitled to a freedom pass, which I think is very kind of it. But what happens if I'm not over 60? Well, in this case it will still ask me for my name, it'll still ask me for my age, but now I put in my real age of 21, and it says hello 21-year-old Andy. The reason it doesn't add anything is not because I haven't asked it to. I have. The freedom variable is here. But the reason it's not doing anything is because freedom is still set to an empty string. Since there's nothing in freedom, because freedom wasn't changed at the age of 21, it's not bigger than 60, I get a blank bit at the end of name. And that's how these programs work. If, in round brackets, we can put several statements together if we need them, so curly brackets, and then all the statements we want to happen if this thing is true.